Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is a report of the war in Iran, which is part of World War III. It is the main events from May 1 through May 31 of 2026. It goes through to the day of 103 in the war in Iran, and at the beginning of the month, it was the end of the Operation Promised Fury on day 65, and that was May 4. And they announced immediately the new operation, which is named Project Freedom. Project Freedom is to move the ships in and out of a blockade at the Strait of Hormuz. And all throughout this month, since the start of the Project Freedom, no ships are allowed to go or come from the Strait of Hormuz unless they pay a toll, and that's no way to do business, and it's not being done, and no ships are basically going. This is the main events for the past month, which in the war in Iran was entirely concentrated on Gaza and Lebanon throughout this entire month. And because it's such a tremendously big report and such a big duty to do all of the work that I do, I am going to exclude from my talking now everything except for Gaza, and just only speak to Gaza through the events of this month. My beloved Gaza, it has been 1 week since I compiled the events that unfold under the name Operation Promised Fury. It was May 1. Within days, the operation was ended and the war with Iran continued under the new code name Project Freedom. May 1 was day 63 of Operation Promised Fury. There were no killings in Gaza that day, no major strikes in Lebanon or Iran, in coordination with that mission. day 66 comes the declaration of the ending of the mission named Operation Promise Fury and the start of the mission named Project Freedom, which will guide 23,000 mariners upon 600 commercial vessels to exit the restricted waterways. There are 900 vessels waiting to transit from the Arabian Gulf. Project Freedom is a maritime checkpoint which will inspect every vessel exiting the restricted waters or approaching to gain entry in the restricted waters. May 4 is day 1 of Project Freedom in the war in Iran, a part of World War III. The blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is assigned a mission to maintain defensive overwatch of the security perimeter using 15,000 service members equipped with artificial intelligence-enabled tactical networks. 100 drones. The high-altitude unmanned Reaper aircraft are airborne 24 hours every day, patrolling the maritime demarcation coordinates, sending live surveillance input into the artificial intelligence platform, which automatically classify which are threats. All traffic is a threat. One week before day 1 of Project Freedom, the Secretary of the Navy was dismissed by President Trump. He had served 1 year commanding the Navy, and he was a banker that visited Jeffrey Epstein. Nonetheless, General McCain ended Promise Fury with committing a big fleet of hunter-killer drones as the aerial reconnaissance supported by combat teams of warships and destroyers sent to send back and disable any vessels who try to cross a checkpoint without prior permission, and no permissions were authorized. 100 Reaper drones are effectively feeding ship movement information into a tactical network computers which produce lists of targets and recommend troop movement. A destroyer captain is informed by the artificial intelligence to steer to the intercept point or deploy fighter jets to get there faster. High altitude drones specialized for tracking traffic over a long period of time to determine the pattern of traffic and to build a profile of individuals in a pattern of life database for the purpose of prioritizing kill lists based on ground movements. In the maritime setting, the high-altitude drone, which is the main one, the only surveillance platform with their battlefield integration, it does not have the capacity to establish a defensive perimeter because it cannot lift into the sky any ordnance larger than a rocket. And these ships have thick hulls of steel. The ship hulls cannot be breached by a traffic Reaper fleet, and it's necessary that the checkpoint is reinforced by battle teams equipped with torpedoes and cruise missiles. If a detected threat is far from the position of the nearest battleship group, then they could send ahead of themselves unmanned fighter jets, which are installed to the detection platform for threats, and they could autonomously dispatch these unmanned fighter jets from the warship, and they'll carry 2,000-pound bombs. They could disable the captain's control nest or an engine room of a large vessel. Large ordnance do require manned vehicles. Human pilots. In the past 3 months, three generals, including the Army Chief of Staff, were dismissed from duty by the USA Secretary of War.